Hi, this is Alana with Hot Rod Magazine, and I'm here in the woods in Colorado where it's extremely cold and there's a very good chance of being eaten by a bear. But I'm here for a good reason. I'm here to show you what it takes to run a vintage car at the Pikes Peak Hillclimb. There are a lot of different classes running at Pikes Peak, but this is Hot Rod Magazine, and we're interested in one class in particular. That's the vintage class, where the muscle cars run.
1986 was the first time they ever had a vintage. In 1987 they did it again and decided they were too slow. They wanted all new, faster cars. In 1997 was an invitation only, and then we started again in 2008 through 2012. The current record in the vintage class is Keith Davidson's Falcon in 12 minutes and a few seconds. This year he's hoping to go just a little bit faster since it's all paved now. This year they've completed the paving all the way up to the top. It's 12.5 miles distance that we race, and everybody feels it's going to be faster, and they like the paving so far.
We're following the vintage class thanks to an invitation from Jess Neal. Jess and navigator Morgan Combs are piloting the number 42 Plymouth Cuda.
Hello, I'm Jess Neal, driver of the number 42 Plymouth Cuda here at the Pikes Peak Hillclimb in the Vintage Division. This is my 5th year running the Hillclimb, where they opened up a Vintage Division in 2008. My good race buddy talked me into subjecting my car to the rocks at the Pikes Peak Hillclimb, and it's been quite an experience. Paving the Pikes Peak Highway actually works better for my style of driving. I tend to want to feel the car hook going into corners. In the 1970 season, Dan Gurney's All-American Racers campaigned Cudas. He was assigned the numbers 42, 43, and 48, and that's where the number 42 on my car comes from, as a tribute to him. I have taken a little bit of flack for my modifications to it and endangering a rare car, but they were built to drive. They weren't built to sit in museums.
It's day 3 and we're almost to the top of the mountain. We're on the last practice session and we're on an area called Devil's Playground, which is the last staging area. And it's really cold up here. It's actually that temperature, 42 degrees. But apparently we're lucky because normally they run the race earlier in the year and there's snow. So I'm glad that we don't have any snow. We've been up here since 4 in the morning. It was pitch dark when we got here. We're waiting for the sun to come up enough that we can do a couple of passes. When qualifying began, Swedish driver Ralf Christensen had top vintage time of the week. He crashed on the last run. He isn't hurt, but he is out of the race, meaning the vintage class win is up for grabs.
Today is Saturday, the day before the Hillclimb. We've been through tech on Tuesday and 3 days of practice, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. Each practice session taking place on a different section of the mountain. Today we're bringing the car up to the pit area so that we can get everything set for tomorrow morning. The race will be starting about 9:30 with the motorcycles going off first. And while they're doing that, I'll be doing some tuning work on the car. I haven't been too happy with the handling of the car. The back end is really loose on the car. So it just so happened today, Randy Popst came through our pits looking at the cars. And we got to talking about the setup of the car, and I now have a laundry list of items I need to change on the car tomorrow to help the handling of it. And one of the things I have to do is I need to correct some toe problems with the car and put some bump stops in the car and add some air pressure to the tires. So that's on the laundry list of things to do tomorrow.
It's Saturday night. They want us off the mountain, so everybody's heading back down. We'll be back here first thing in the morning to watch them run the race. It's 4 a.m. on race day. Jess is working on the car. Breakfast is on the stove. It looks like it's going to be a great day. But then we find a problem.
I can run around asking some folks too. We don't have anybody in our group that has one?
I would bet
no one would have a brake cord.
I would bet not, but
I'll go get you one.
You for a ride.
Okay. Randy Popes came over and we were looking at the rear suspension and stuff, and he said, "It's moist right there." I went, "Huh?" And he said, "Yeah," and he did that, and I wiped my hand across it and then dried it and felt it was brake fluid. Just tighten the fitting up.
Yeah.
Broken line. When I turned the fitting.
The Plymouth gods must like Jess. The new part comes just in time. The vintage class is the next to run. It's exciting to finally be at the line after a week of blood, sweat, and brake fluid. Jess gets the green flags. We'll have to wait till he gets to the top to find out how he's done. During Jess's run, we get word that Keith in the Falcon has crashed. Jess has a real shot at the title. It's hard to wait until the cars come back down the hill to find out how they've done. As the racers return, spectators line the road to greet them in traditional Pikes Peak style. When Jess and Morgan come back, they're flying the checkered flag. They've won their class.
The whole week was just like a build-up of like emotion through the few days of testing. The climb is just amazing. It's something that you cannot capture on TV or in video or whatever. You have to experience it, in the passenger seat or in the driver's seat. You have to be in the car to understand what it is. Today didn't start like a good day. Had some little issues here and there with the car, a flat tire with the tow truck. But after all, it was not a bad day. I mean, like everything came together in such a way, I don't know, it's difficult to describe. The whole run was just amazing. I don't want to say it was magical, but there was something going on. It felt nice and smooth in the car, no mistake, everything flowed perfectly, and we arrived on top and we did a big, huge donut, and that was the best time of my life. So thanks, Jess, it was great.
You have to have a donut on the summit.
Yep, and we did it. Thank you, Jess.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Glad to have you.